seeing that we've talked about something that is related to the wizarding world, there would have been no wizarding anything without J.K. Rowling. Now, that other day I talked about the J.K. Rowling controversy and Tom Felton's response to that. And I got a comment on that exact segment because I cut it down into parts and then released it as one clip on YouTube. You know, it's my way of like trying to increase viewership. So as we finish off this segment, I'm going to experiment with something that I would like to do at the end of every post-sentencing hearing. Once in a while, I might get a comment from one of my listeners. And I'm not going to do this in every episode, but I feel like doing it now. Every once in a while, I'm going to read it out and share, just a slice of the pie, mind you, of my opinionated response. It might even give you an idea of, like, when I read your comments, what's my thought process, so to speak. It's also going to be uncensored. Without further ado, the shout out for the post-sentencing hearing comments reading goes to J. Ruse. J. Ruse had sent this following comment a few days ago in response to my, as I mentioned before, segment about the J.K. Rowling controversy. And I'm going to read it exactly as it is. J. Ruse said, "I don't understand why anyone would take issue with what Rowling has said. I found it incredibly ridiculous that the ones screaming for freedom of expression, speech, and lifestyle are the only ones screaming to shut everyone with differing opinions up. The hypocrisy and intolerance has made me very unsympathetic and unsupportive of the LGBTQ community and any Hollywood panderers. I feel the same toward feminism. It's like women have gotten so much of what they/we, in brackets, J. Ruse pointed out that she is a woman, have wanted, but are totally ungrateful and unsatisfied. It's like there's an addiction to victimhood and self-pity." Thank you, J. Ruse, for your fascinating perspective here. And it's also fascinating that you shared your perspective as a woman. From the way that I see it, as a guy, obviously, feminism, according to how you described it, and I'm not saying that I disagree or concur with it either, but it looks like feminism, or toxic third wave feminism, however you like to call it, is being elevated by women the majority of the time. And the people who are in direct opposition to this type of feminism, whether it be for better or worse, again, it depends on your viewpoint, right? Just happen to be male individuals. Having established that, the fact that you are saying that women are totally ungrateful and unsatisfied with what they are given, and I don't want to misquote you because you also took care to mention that they already got what they wanted, but the fact that you made that assertion as a woman yourself is really effective from a formal debate standpoint. And it doesn't matter whether one agrees with the issue or not. Sometimes in a formal debate, you kind of have to argue as the devil's advocate. And here's why I think that is a very effective position that you have. I've observed enough debate tournaments to know that by utilizing your own personal experience, whether it be in regards to ethnicity, sex, whatever, in order to solidify your position can really bring your argument home. I'll share with you an example. I was spectating this debate, and I think it was about immigration or something. I don't recall exactly, but one of the debaters literally stood up to assert one of his points, and he grabbed his passport from his back pocket almost instantly to bring his argument home. He had direct proof to substantiate his points about immigration because I'm going to call him Bob. Bob talked about his experience, and by talking about his own experience, everyone was just speechless. Because it wasn't just anyone talking out of their ass. This was an actual person living what they were saying. Another thing that I would like to say when it comes to my perspective from reading your comment, J. Ruse, is that I myself am not a big fan of echo chambers, especially in the cinema industry. I honestly find the prospect of having to agree on everything, including movies, very stupid. We have to collectively learn to agree and disagree. The beauty of pop culture, which is what drawn me into it in the first place, is the idea that we can grasp the initiative to foster constructive debate of the movies that we love or the movies that we love to hate. The pop culture community, especially its online forums, is meant to be a harbor from all of the bitterness in the world, where we can just argue about fiction instead of the politics behind feeding a skinny ass child who lives in a desolated region across the world, while a rich person thinks their life is hard because they woke up on the wrong side of the bed one morning. And I find that sometimes the way that fictional stories portray real events and issues can be debated in substantial length too. And I know that this is an extensive response, so I'll speed things up if you don't mind. But in regards to what you said about the LGBTQ, maybe you have the right to be fed up and agitated with how those so-called activists want to virtue signal honest to God movie pundits for having to, share a different opinion. But I wouldn't go as far as to say that we should be intolerant or unsympathetic. I mean, like, pop culture is a safe place, and that pretty much extends to everyone, whether you are left or right, or anywhere in between, whether you are of a certain ethnicity or religion, whether you're lesbian, gay, bisexual, whoever you are, which is a catalog of many unique attributes, and whatever your identity is, so long as it isn't infested with harmful ideologies such as, advocating for racism, genocide, bigotry, stuff like that, then there is a place available for you on the pop culture table, signed with your name on it in premium ink. No one, including you, has the right to pull another person's chair away, so to speak. In that same respect, I want you to feel welcome in the pop culture community as well. But just keep in mind that this goes both ways. Just as you should feel welcomed, you should also welcome others. I have a question for you, J. Roos. Where do you think we should draw the line, if any, when it comes to sharing opinions? I would be very interested in your answer to this question. So once again, a big shout out to you, J. Roos, for giving me something to talk about. Feel free to send another comment if there's anything else that you'd like to add, and I'll be happy to follow up on that at a later date. And if not, well, I hope you enjoyed your few minutes, it might be more than a few minutes, in the spotlight. To the listeners tuning in, let me know what you think about J. Roos' comment and my reply to it in the comment section below or our Twitter inbox at Cinema Courtroom.